Hi everyone, happy Saturday and congratulations on the National Embroidery Month, which starts today. And let's celebrate it with starting a new project and stitching something nice together. I would like to invite you to my stitch along, which I do for the Valentine's Day. And this is my previous pattern that I already made. It's already available on my stitching club. If you want to join my stitching club and get access to this pattern and many other embroidery patterns that you will find there, um, follow the link in the video description below. I put all the information about it. And I'm thinking that I will leave this embroidery in the hoop. I will frame it this way because I really like the border and really like how it looks in the hoop. So this one probably will stay in the hoop. I will frame it later and I will show it to you my final result on the Instagram. And today I'm going to be stitching the next floral heart. And these are those pansies. Yeah, this border I made with multicolored threads and it perfectly matches all the colors that you can see inside the pattern. That's why it looks like so beautiful, so consistent. And I used those embroidery threads. It's Cosmo Seasons 5033. You may find it in online shops. It's Japanese embroidery threads. So yeah, this is how it looks like. I really love it. The previous floral heart I made I hanging decoration. It already hangs on my cherry blossom tree in my studio, and this is how it looks like. I was putting together those two pieces on my previous live stream, so you can see how I did it there. On the back side, I have stitched the love lettering, and I'm making the pattern for lettering as well for my stitching club. So they will get a few patterns like this. I will make love, hope, and yeah, maybe some few words. Let me know what you would like to get for the lettering and I will make it for you. So this is how the front side looks like, and you can see the reel on Instagram about how it looks like on my cherry blossom tree, and there is also a short on YouTube. It's really gorgeous. But for this one, yeah, it will stay in the hoop because I like how it looks this way. I really love it. And this our today's project. But before I will start this project, I want to show you my gifts that my friend Melanie sent me for birthday, and it finally came to Canada because of Canada Post issues. It came late, so thank you so much, Melanie. I love all your gifts. So these are two Clover heating erasable gel pens. Those are white and those are perfect for the dark fabrics, and I love it. I never tried the like original Clover pens. I usually use some other brands, some cheaper brands, and I'm excited to test those and see how they work. And she also sent me a bunch of DMC Diamond Grande, or not Grande, just Diamond. Yeah, there is some Grande colors. So yeah, those are gorgeous, and I used some colors already for my Christmas patterns, but those colors I didn't have those, like a red one and green one. I'm excited to try them and see how it looks in the projects. Maybe I will use them in for my next projects or Christmas projects probably. And because I usually use sparkling threads for Christmas projects. And I also have here a bunch of um, uh, embroidery fabric. It's probably some cotton linen brand. I'm interesting, but the colors are really gorgeous. I love those. And I also have here some interesting embroidery threads that I never tried before. I wonder how they feels and look when you stitch with them. And it's probably wool, yeah, organic wool, DMC Eco Vita. Never try those, and it's interesting to use. Let me know, guys, if you know which kind of embroidery should be done with those embroidery threads. I guess it should be crevel embroidery or something like that. I never tried crevel embroidery, but I have a book from a Ukrainian embroidery artist with a lot of crevel embroidery projects, so maybe I will try someday those threads. And maybe I will do it this month because it's National Embroidery Month, and we all trying something new, learning something new, and yeah, there is something that I never tried, so it's a great opportunity for me to try something new with crevel embroidery. Let me know, guys, if you are interested in this project, and I can stitch a little bit on my live streams and show you my progress. Let me show you the book that I have. This is a book. It's a book by Tatiana Popova, and she's a Ukrainian artist. And look how gorgeous it looks like. I'm so excited. It looks like that she used a traditional embroidery threads plus some other threads. Like, it's so interesting. I will read about materials that I will need, but I think this fabric is perfect for crevel, and the threads should be used for crevel embroidery because, as far as I know, they use wool embroidery threads. If you want book review, maybe someday I can do a book review for this one because it's a really beautiful book, and I want to support Ukrainian artists and share what she does. It's gorgeous. Just look at it. It's amazing. Erin says the border is amazing. Yeah, thank you. I need to order the Cosmos variated threads. They're so pretty. Yeah, they're so pretty. They have so many different um, options for variated threads. I have a lot of them. My friend Melanie always sends me those threads because I don't know where to get them here in Canada. But I found one shop in Moncton, but they don't have much threads from Cosmos Seasons. This is my collection of Cosmos Season threads and other variated embroidery threads that I have from different brands. Those are the ones that I already started, so but I keep them in the skein as much as I can. And yeah, just look at this, so many colors. Those are all Cosmos Seasons, and they have so many different options. It's gorgeous threads. They are the best quality embroidery threads that I ever saw, like I ever tried. Those are the best, but they're expensive at the same time, like about $3 or more for per skein. So yeah, those are my keys, and I'm excited to try those materials for some new projects. Let me know in the comments what would you like me to stitch with it. Okay, so let's frame this. Let's put this fabric in the hoop. This is my working hoop. I'm not gonna be framing this project in this one because this is the hoop that I'm working with. As you can see, I binded the inner part with fabric that so it will keep my fabric really tight. And let's place it in the hoop and let's choose the colors for the Pansy flower. This is the project for those who wants to practice or learn from the scratch the long and short shading technique. I will show you my technique, like how I usually embroider pansies. So maybe you will like to try. This is a small project. It shouldn't give you like a lot of anxiety to start. So it's easy to finish in a few days. So for hand embroidery, as far as you know already, I already all the time I tell you that you need to keep your fabric in the hoop and you need to make your fabric really tight so you will not have any wrinkles and your stitches will lay perfectly. Now I make my hoop really tight and it should be like drum tight like this one. If you guys have any questions during the stitching process, just ask me in the chat or leave a comment if you watch it in a recording mode. Okay, we will be stitching this flower, the biggest flower from this embroidery design. And let's choose some colors. You can be like, you can find some photo of the Pansy flower and get in color inspiration from there. And yeah, usually I like when this bottom petal is yellow and orange. We will do some color transitions. Let me show you a few projects with pansies which are already embroidered that I did last years. I really love pansy flowers, so I did a lot of projects already with pansies, but yeah, see, I missed pansies, so I get back to those flowers and stitch some more projects with it. So this is the project that you can try. It's this pattern and video tutorials are already available on my Etsy shop and my Shopify shop, and you can also get this pattern on Patreon. And this is another project with pansies. I really love it. And this is another one. This one is also available on my Patreon if you want to try it. And you can practice with some little fancy embroidery pattern and stitch it. Try it. Like, trying a smaller project is always not so intimidating and not so scary to start, so I highly recommend you to try a smaller pansy design before jumping into something bigger like this. And you can get this pattern actually for free on my website, and I will leave the link in the video description on YouTube. So definitely try it. This video tutorial is going to be useful for those projects as well because they are basically the same pansy flower shapes, so you can use this tutorial for all those projects as well. Okay, let's choose the colors because I didn't choose the colors yet. I really like those pansies. Like this one is really cute. But I don't want to repeat like this and make the same pansies that I already did. But I want to make the bottom petal orange and yellow. Hmm. Let's choose some colors. This one is really great. Which color would you embroider? This one is pretty bright. We'll stitch just one petal today because it's a long process, and let's see how it's gonna go. Somebody's asking on Instagram, how much time you take for these embroidery flowers? I know. For this one, I would probably spend the entire week embroidering at least 8 hours per day or something like that. It's a big project, so it's a big and serious project like this. But this one, I would finish for 3 or 4 days because it's smaller. Let's see which colors we already have from the previous floral hearts. Maybe we will use some of those embroidery threads that I already used. Oh, I have this bright pink. I think it will go perfectly with this one. Like pansies, they can be so much different colors. So, and this combination is also great. I will probably use this for the next flower or this one. I know, I'm not sure. I think this one should look perfectly, and this can be like pink like this. Where is another? Yeah, this is a different one, but the number is the same. Probably some of those colors are wrong. Love the variegated threads. Yeah, you can watch my video from the beginning and you see how many variegated threads that I have. And this color is cute. Okay, so and I will use this one definitely for the pink Pansy. And yeah, those orange and yellow threads, they will go for the bottom petal, definitely. And I will stitch the leaves. I will use just a simple satin stitch technique, so it's not complicated. I will try to make this as simple as possible, so just don't be scared. Okay, so and we will use 2 strands of floss, and then for shading we will use only 1 strand of floss. So you will need the smallest needles from your embroidery set. I like this embroidery needles from DMC, so you can use like the smallest needle for only 1 strand of floss, and you can use this one as well for 2 strands of floss. But if it's too small for you, you cannot thread your needle. Try a slightly bigger needle that goes after this one. So yeah, I will be using like the next one, not the smallest one right now, because I will be using 2 strands right now. So yeah, I like to make those petals the darkest, so I will start from those 2 colors. You can use colors that are close to each other, like in the same color palette, like this. Maybe I will use like this, and then the next petals will be pink like this. You can use any colors, you can blend any colors together, because when you use long and short shading technique, um, the colors like transition one to another, and you can use two bright colors or two colors close to each other depending which effect you want to get. If you want to get a soft effect, you can use close colors. If you want to get to make it bright and cartoonish, you can go with those two colors. It depends which effect you want to get. I probably will go with those two, but I don't know which color code is this one. This one doesn't, without any code. I will find it and I will let you know which color code is this one on Patreon, like in when I will be making stitching instructions, illustrations, so I will share this color which it was. Okay, let's place the hoop in the hoop stand. I will start stitching. So I will start with this one. I will need 2 strands of floss. Okay, let me zoom it. Let me know, guys, from which country are you watching right now? Do you know that this is National Embroidery Month? I didn't know until I opened my phone and checked the post on Instagram. There was a post from Love Embroidery magazine, so that's how I know. Okay, we have somebody from Istanbul, from Jamaica. Is there anyone from United States? UK, hello, Brazil. I'm from Canada. Aaron says, I didn't know about National Embroidery Month either. Yeah, me too. I just find out today, but I was going to start a new embroidery project anyway, so see, it may be really hard to thread the needle with the smallest needle from the set with 2 strands, but I prefer to use the smallest one, so it will create smaller holes in the fabric, and it's much more comfortable to stitch with this smaller needle. Somebody's watching from the United States and from Germany. Give me some hearts, give me some comments, so maybe more people will see this embroidery video. So yeah, let's start. I will be stitching this flower, and I'm using 2 strands of floss. This is the color number that I'm using right now. It's number 34, and I already have like another color like this one. It also can be used if you have this one. It's slightly darker, but oh, and there is this one. This is a much closer color, 917, so you can also use this one. If you don't have this one, hi Leah. And I don't have a knot right here. You can start from the loop, or you can also start another way, and I will show you how. Like, I usually like to start in the center of the area that I will be stitching. It will be covered with stitches later, and I do a little bit of running stitches, really short running stitch, like this. And I go and split the previous stitch from the top. And I go back here and split it again like this. And now this thread is secured and you can start stitching. Before I start, I want to mark the stitches direction. Usually I don't need it, but for beginners it's very important to have them. So here is my heating erasable gel pen, and I usually mark stitches directions towards the center of the flower, like this. And I provide those stitching directions in my PDF pattern, so you can transfer them right away when you are transferring the pattern to the fabric. And before I will start filling this area, I will do an outline, and outline I'm doing with a split stitch. I'm splitting the stitch from the top because it's much more comfortable for me to do split stitch. You can split it from the back, but it's not comfortable for me. So I do short stitches so I can follow the outline of the petal, and I make this outline to make my edges for this petal sharp. You will see, like, this is my little secret how to make a really sharp and beautiful petals, especially for the fancy flowers. I like to do it. Let me know, guys, if you ever tried long and short shading before, and if not, what is the most challenging part of this technique for you? Why you like never tried it before? I'm just curious. And maybe I will give you some tips in this video so you can overcome your fears or doubts. We have a little knot here. no good at all in it. If you can demonstrate it, it will be great. Yeah, that's why I'm making this video tutorial for you guys, so I could help somehow. I just figured out that I have almost 8 years of experience in hand embroidery. I just calculated. I just never thought that there is so much time already spent with hand embroidery. So yeah, I do it for 8 years non-stop every day. And I teach others. Elfie makes, we have a comment. I've just taken up thread painting, long and short, after having been a cross stitcher for decades. It's totally converted to thread painting now. Oh, I've totally converted. Yeah, I was cross stitching for like 15 years or so before. And yeah, once I tried hand embroidery, it's like I felt like complete freedom. So I never went back to cross stitching since then. I don't know, cross stitching for me is so like, I don't know, pointless. How to stay? It's like you are just filling the pixels with thread and you need to count. I'm I wasn't good enough in counting and I was always making mistakes and I had to fix it or redo it. It was so annoying. So yeah, once I tried hand embroidery, it became like the next level for me. It's like upgrade from the just playing with threads to some art, you know. And it's a complete freedom. You can embroider anything you want. For me, I don't need any patterns. I just um, when I see something, I already imagine it embroidered with thread painting in my head. So it's just so simple. But yeah, same here with the cross stitching. Here, there wasn't any volume or texture, and cross stitching took forever. Erin says, and Elfie makes exactly. Hand embroidery is so much more personal and, in my opinion, a much more beautiful finish. And yes, this is definitely an upgrade from cross stitch. Yeah, it's definitely an upgrade and into the direction of like something serious art, you know. So yeah, so here is I finished the outlining. I outline only the outside part, like only this line, because this line is going to be outlined later for the next petal. And I don't actually need this because this line will already create the sharp edge for this petal. You see this petal from outside only, so that's why you don't need to outline anything inside. And also because you don't need any volume in this part, right? You don't need volume here, you need a volume here. if you need even more volume, you can use more threads for outline, or even make outline with chain stitch technique, so it will give you even more volume. If you want to make it volumetric, you can also, to get extra volume, you can make random stitches inside this, in this direction, so it will like bring your threads up a little bit, and it will create even more volume in those places. But I'm not trying to get volume. I'm trying to get the sharp edge for the petals. And let's start filling this petal. In this part, like here, I'm not going to be making any long and short shading. This is like already too short. The stitches are going to be too short here, so I will not be doing long and short much. But for the bigger areas like this is the area where I will be making long and short stitches. And I'm planning um, to add some lighter shade, or even darker one. So yeah, this one is darker, so I want to make this part lighter, yeah, and the darker thread will go inside. So I will leave this thread for later, and actually I did a mistake. Right now I suppose it to be starting with a lighter shade, because this outline, it should match the colors that you are going to be filling with, like in this part, in this, yeah. So I did a mistake, but this color is really close to this one, so I hope it's not going to be visible. So I will be trying to cover it completely so it's not going to be visible. So for now I'm putting this thread for later, where for the when I will be making long and short shading, and I will be start filling with this color. And for the first row I will use 2 strands, and then I will switch to 1 strand to make like shading effect, like a transition, like a to make a transition from one color to another, from the darkest to lighter color. You can use like 2 different colors if you want, and make it like cartoonish look of the flower. It looks really nice. So I'll start the thread the same way I was starting before, with a little running stitches. So yeah, um, so I'm here, so let's start from filling from here. And I like to come up um, in the center, like somewhere inside of the area of the petal, and I put my needle, to make the first stitch, I put my needle outside of the border, but really close to it. I'm not splitting this border because I want this border to be hidden under my stitches. And you can make stitches with some distance, and this way you will mark stitches direction, and it's better for you to keep the right stitching direction for your flower. So you can go ahead and make those stitches this way. It can be long stitches. You can make shorter stitches between those stitches later. I usually like just start filling and making stitches really close to each other and filling everything completely from the first go, but you can use this kind of technique, so maybe it will help you to make stitches in the right direction. I know it's a common mistake, a common problem for beginners. They kind of start stitching in the right direction, but when they continue stitching, the direction is changing and they like forgetting to follow the right stitch direction, and it end up like in a completely different direction that it's supposed to be. So I recommend doing like this little trick before you start feeling everything like completely. So, and now from here, I'm just go and fill all the gaps between those stitches. It will take some time. So you need to be patient. Somebody asked, did you teach yourself? Yes, I'm self-taught, and I was basically watching a lot of videos on YouTube, looking for some articles with step-by-step instructions, anything I was able to find online, and that's how I was teaching myself. When I was like about 6 years old, I saw my grandma, she was embroiderer. I saw her works and she just taught me like basic satin stitch and just a few basic stitches that she knew. And I tried it and I didn't really took it seriously. I didn't continue embroidering since then, but when I get back to hand embroidery 8 years ago, I like started learning it uh, deeper. I started like being really interested in this technique, and I wanted to try this long and short, like realistic painting, a thread painting technique. And I was looking for inspiration on Instagram, and I found a lot of different artists and I started following them. I watched their videos, and this is how I learned. And then I was sharing my work on my own Instagram account, and people started asking me, like, teach me, I want to learn how to do that as well. So I created a little embroidery school, and I'm sharing my like skills, that what I learned, and sometimes I use like my own approach or technique, and I explain it in my blog. And if you want to learn embroidery as well, you can join my stitching club on Patreon and get access to all the embroidery patterns that I created and instructions. Um, I was looking for the best instructions online, but ended up creating them my own way. I make illustrations on iPad, and yeah, these are the one of the best stitching instructions so far. People are already giving me like really nice feedback about my stitching instructions, so they really like them. So yeah, but yeah, all the time I improve the way I do my stitching instructions and video tutorials, and yeah, they get better and better every year. So now I see I this part I filled with satin stitch, and now I switch to the long and short stitch, as I have a little bit bigger area for that. I have space for this. So I do long and short stitches. I like to come up um, from the inside, like of the petal, and then I go this way, follow the direction that I need, and I put my needle outside of the border from the top, because when I try to come up on the edge, outside of the edge, it's not always I can come up in the right place. But if you like this way better, you can try it and do it another way, like coming up on the edge, and then placing your thread. I like to place my thread like this, so I just make sure that I go into the right direction, and you can do it this way. It doesn't really matter, it's just for you, the way, like, you just need to choose the way you feel the most comfortable doing it. Like, for me, I like to go from the top, because when I go from the back up, there is a risk that you will split this outline, and a part of this outline will be visible outside of the petal. So that's why it's better for me to go from the inside of the petal, from here, and then put my needle from the top outside of the outline. So there's less risk that I will split that outline accidentally. So that's why I do it this way, but you can do it your own way. The way is the most comfortable for you. Yeah, I will try to collect all of my tips for long and short shading and share it on my Patreon when I will be sharing this video with my stitching club. So one of the tips that I would like to give you is to make sure that your thread, especially when you use 2 strands or 3 strands, that it's not twisted the way it will lay down perfectly. If you see that it's twisted, like don't finish your stitch like completely, you can assist yourself with your needle. You can do a few moves like this and place your thread um, to be like flat and perfectly um, laying on the fabric the way you want it to be. Let me try to zoom it a little bit closer. Kelly asking, do you do all the long stitches first, then go back and do the short stitches? Yeah, I did all those long stitches first. You can watch my video from the beginning on YouTube and see the entire process. This video recording is going to be available on my YouTube channel. And so yeah, this way it's helpful for me to keep the right stitches direction all the time. Leah says, I have been part of Natalie's Stitching Club now for a year. I have learned so much. She's so talented and she's always coming out with new projects and it's just wonderful. Thank you so much, Leah. I'm so happy to have you in my stitching club. And I'm so happy to see such a lovely feedback. It's very important for me to hear like honest feedback from you guys, because sometimes if I don't receive any feedback, any comments on my work, on the benefits that I provide on my stitching club, I think that maybe I do something wrong, maybe I need to do something differently, maybe I don't provide like enough projects or enough instructions. Sometimes, yeah, I have doubts regarding my work. Maybe it wasn't like good enough for you. Maybe I don't know. All stitches go outside the contour. Yes, I'm going outside of this contour, so this contour will help me to create the sharp line for my petal and will give you a little bit of volume. That's why I do it this way. Okay, I will finish this thread later. I will start a new one because I need a little bit of thread here to finish filling this part, and we will switch to another color. And this time I will start my thread with a loop. I took only one strand and I put it together, so I have a loop here and I can start stitching with a loop. I'll go up and I don't go like with my thread completely because I have a loop on the back side. I keep my thread with my left hand, and then I make a stitch from the front, and then on the back side I go through this loop, and it creates a little anchor stitch that I can use as like it will secure my thread, so I don't need to make any knots or something like that. So here in this place there is just a little bit of space, and I will do just a regular satin stitch. If you want to create some contrast after you finish stitching those petals, you can go and create like an outline using a darker shade of floss if you want. And it depends which effect you want to give to those flowers. I have an article on Patreon about outline, like in different kinds of outline. Inner outline, like just the one we did right here, it stays inside, and there is also outside outline you can add on top of the satin stitches, long and short stitches that you done to get some contrast. You can also add those outline too on the top of everything, so it just depends on you which kind of effect you want to create. And I'm switching now to one strand of floss and this color, so we will create a shadow like inside of the petal, and it will make this petal to look even more realistic. Leah says, your work is always beautiful. I cannot wait to do this project. You are an amazing teacher. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm self-taught, so sometimes I have doubts if I explain it to you right or not. So, and also English is not my first language, so I say something ridiculous sometimes. I watch my old videos and I'm just, oh my god, what I'm saying, what I'm talking about, it's so stupid. And you guys are watching those videos, I'm so just um so surprised that people are watching my videos. I thought that they are boring. Erin says, great comment, Leah. I've learned so much too. You do a really great job at teaching that, and you provide plenty of original and beautiful projects. Thank you so much, Erin. Um, Somebody said that you're doing amazing talking and needling. Good job, thank you. I'm glad you love it. And somebody says also, hello, I also embroider with iron. Embroider with iron? How is it? It has become smaller now. Do you man embroider with embroidery? Mm, is this accepted in society? I don't know. What are you talking about? Do you mean that you use heating erasable gel pens? Okay, I will talk about those pens later. Now I started a new thread, and this is a darker color, and this is only one strand of floss. And now I'm going to be doing long and short shading and filling this petal completely. I'm filling all the rest space that left, and I go inside of the previous color. I go pretty far, so just don't be afraid to go farther. Don't start your thread like exactly when the previous thread just finished. So this is the common mistake. So start it like go deeper, like go like almost until the edge of the petal, like here. And this way you can like extending like this darker color, like you do like injections of another color into the previous one, and this is how like you can do the best blending effect. And I also, like, as you can see, I place my thread down flat, like, and I'm just checking if this is laying right in the right stitch direction, and then I put my needle down and make a stitch. This is very important because you need to follow the same stitches direction as you did for the previous row of the stitches. And because if you will change the stitch direction even slightly, it will create like an effect of like you're crossing your previous stitches, and it will like look a little bit off. It will look like not right. Somebody says, English is not my first language either. I learned a lot with your videos. This is awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for your lovely feedbacks. I really appreciate your feedbacks because if you will stay quiet, I will never know if my videos are useful at all. I need to know it, so I will be like making more videos. I will be more inspired to make those for you, like to make this useful content. So now, see, I go like between my previous stitches, I made longer stitches and I started them close to the edge, and now I feel the space between them, and I go between those longer stitches and I move and I start them a little bit lower. I just go a little bit down, and I put my needle exactly um, into this border, because I will be feeling like I need to fill all the rest space with this new color. And here I go between those two longer stitches again. I move a little bit down. Um, так, я з України і я зараз живу в Канаді. Добрий день. У нас зараз день, я не знаю, може у вас уже вечір. And see, here as well, I go between my previous stitches, start my stitch a little bit lower, and make a long stitch until this point. Don't worry yet if you have some gaps between those stitches. You can go back. I will go back and I will fill them with a slightly shorter stitches. So now I will do the same for the right side. I will do long stitches and I will start them really close to the edge. Don't be afraid to go closer to the edge. Ви теж із України? Ви зараз з України мене дивитесь? See, I do long stitches. I leave a little space between those. just like this. Що це буде за виріб? Це просто вишивка для душі. Ви можете зробити все, що завгодно з цим дизайном. Можете оформити його в п'яльцях, можете оформити його в традиційній квадратній якійсь рамці, можете використати його для, не знаю, для чого завгодно. Можете вишити це десь на своїй сорочці, там, на одязі десь, щоб носити. Embroidery Man, а ви звідки? So here, when I stitch on top of the satin stitch, I also go on top of the satin stitch and make short stitches like this. I also make here a little bit of shadow. Because I want to create an effect that there is a shadow from the petal that are on the top. Like those are front petals, and those petals like a little behind those petals. And I want to create an effect that there is a little shadow here. And here I make even shorter stitches between those. Like this. As you can see, so that's okay. If you're like completely stitched this part with satin stitch, you can still go back and add long and short stitches on top of what you have. I have a project, it calls Sampler Guidebook, and I have a special page from this book for long and short shading, and it's going to be my next page which I'm going to be working on, and there are like samplers and space for you to practice long and short shading, so you can learn how to do it. Like you'll start stitching it with you can try stitching with different amount of threads, and you can try filling the spaces using a different amount of colors. Like you can try doing long and short using only 2 colors, and then the next section you can try to do it with 3 colors or more, and the last part is going to be like for 5 colors, 4 or 5 colors, and you will be using only one strand of floss. So it's an interesting opportunity for you to practice long and short shading, and with each practicing, you are like reducing the amount of threads you are using and increasing the amount of colors you are using, and you will see how different this long and short shading can look like when you use a lot of colors and only one strand of floss. It will be the best way to mix the colors. It's like for those who are afraid to use only one strand of floss, and for those who are afraid to do long and short shading, like who never tried it, it's a nice opportunity for you to practice. And this project is also available on my YouTube channel, on my Patreon stitching club. So when you join, you can get access to all of the projects that I created for the last 6 or 7 years. I don't remember. I need to check how many years I'm making educational content on Patreon. But yeah, it's a lot of projects. It's a lot of different techniques that you can learn. See, I see that I have some gaps from the previous sections that I kind of already done, but I want to go back and add a few more stitches to make sure that all the everything is filled with the stitches. Embroidery man is writing that she's embroidering pictures with embroidery. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see. Um, okay. So I learned English many years. I learned English for I don't know, maybe 20 years or something like that. In the school we have a really poor English. Nobody was talking as it should be, like, and our teachers, they was not really good at English as well, so it was like a wrong English experience. So we learned to pronounce words completely wrong. So later when we grow up, we understood, we like realized that it was wrong and we need to teach ourselves from the scratch. So I went to the English courses. Yeah, I went to English courses for adults for a few years, and then I finally started talking and express my thoughts, which I couldn't do before, even after the university. So, and that's how I learn English. I learn every day. And when I look back to my old videos, I like right now I realize that I was talking wrong, but it's okay. If people are watching, people are finding my videos useful, that's okay. I never removed my videos because of the bad English. So now I live in Canada, and it gives me an opportunity to speak with the real people and practice my English and listen to how they speak, and so I'm learning a lot. And I also watch TV um, TV shows and videos in original, in without any translations but with captions. So that's how I probably learn a little bit of English every day. And here in Canada, once I arrived, I went to the free English courses. I was going to those courses for 8 months, and I got certificate for the level 8 of English. So that's my level so far, but maybe in the future I expect that my English will be improving with every year. I'm trying to do live workshops here in Canada and talk to people, communicate, go to the markets. Um, so that's how I learn. Somebody's commenting on YouTube. Sorry, I just sat down to watch, but I would like to know, is it for one thread are you using? Yes, it's only one strand of floss. Leah says, you do very well. Thank you. Yeah, I discovered that in Canada people use different words. Before I was taught like British English. Here nobody is talking like that, so I had to like I'm trying to learn Canadian English. It's like a different dialect of English. Mm. But nobody is teaching this English even here in Canada. If you go to the English courses, they will teach you British English. I don't know why. It's not helpful, actually. I want to speak like the other people speak here in Canada. And the same with French. In this province where I live, a lot of people they speak French, and I don't know French. I never heard French so much, but um, I was told that here people also speak French. It's like a different dialect of French, and sometimes even people from France, from Paris, if they come to Canada, they cannot understand local people that also talk French, but it's like different kind of French language, you know? That's funny. So yeah, that's it. Um, Now once you finished your petal, like from the far, I can see that I can go back to this area and do a little bit of additional stitches to create a little bit of shadow in this place. I will just add short stitches here to create more shadow close to the edge of the next petal. Leah says because we are British colony, even though we have our own constitution. Yeah, that's why. I wonder how it is in United States. Do they teach people United States kind of version of English on English courses, or they still teach British English? It's interesting. If there is somebody who knows, like, please let us know. Ricky says that I'm also bilingual and I know exactly what you're talking about. I too learned British English in school and when I came to America, I had to learn American English. Yeah, right. And how do you learn American English? Do you learn it on the go, just from the talking to people, living there for a while, or you there have a special courses for that? Okay, so that's how my petal looks like. The next petal you can stitch later, and this I will be making them this petal exactly the same way like I did this one. The same colors, like I will start with a lighter color and then I will add shadow with a darker one. So you can go ahead and stitch it yourself. And now I will probably, if we have some time, let's see. We are already stitching for the 1.5 hour. Do you guys want me to continue stitching? Um, Let me know. Should I stay stitching for more or we can continue stitching tomorrow? I will think about this next petal now. Maybe which color I will use. Maybe those two. It's gonna be really bright and beautiful. I don't know. Yes, stay. Okay. Okay, so how we will stitch the next petal? So I have two colors like this. I wonder, should we start from the light color on the edge and then blend it with the darker one inside? Or should we start... Okay, let's stay consistent, right? I will start with the lightest color and then I will blend it with this darker one. I will put this thread for later, so I will finish it later. So this is actually some kind of brand that I found on the thrift store here. And this is the brand name of this thread, J&B Coats. This is something new. I never heard of this brand before, but it has a DMC color, like this is number 65 for this brand, but if you want to use DMC, it's similar to DMC 605. And I'm gonna use 2 strands. It's okay, I have just mixed feelings about that. Two strands. And I will start with a loop. From the back side, so I don't need to do any knots. So as usual, I will start from the outline. It's not going to be comfortable for you to do outline. You can start stitching from this petal first, and then you can stitch the next petal like this way. So there's going to be a split stitch the same way like I did for the previous petal. Yeah, you will have a homework if you're following me and stitch along with me. So until tomorrow, you will need to stitch this petal and this petal as well, because this petal is going to look like the same way like this one. I'll try to finish this petal with you today. I hope I will not get tired. Usually I feel tired after almost 2 hours of stitching, but today I feel full of energy. So let's make this live stream a little bit longer. And you know why I feel a lot of energy? Because you guys are commenting, like sending me nice messages, and we are chatting here, and I don't feel like I'm talking to myself all the time. So you guys give me a nice company, so we can stitch longer if you want, if you enjoy my company. I wonder what are you guys doing right now? Are you stitching something? Maybe you are doing some other kind of crafts like um, crocheting. I've been crocheting for many years actually, but I don't have any works for you to show because all of that, what I was crocheting, all the clothing that I made, I left it in back in Ukraine, and because I couldn't bring all my stuff with me, I just left it there. And I probably cannot wear it anymore because I gained some weight, so it's not suitable for me anymore. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of crocheting when I was a student, especially. I did sweaters, jackets, like different kind of clothing. And I was always I wasn't like following um the patterns like for 100%. I was always like customizing it for my needs. Like I was always like changing those patterns and doing it in another way. Like, so as usual, I recommend you to mark your stitches direction this way. You can look at the pattern and mark it with your pen on the go, or you can transfer it right away from the very beginning. Okay. So I'm stitching an embroidery kit. I also crochet. I've just finished a jumper sweater. That's nice to hear. And somebody is telling, just join it, missed the chat, please inform if you will save the live. Yes, I will save this live and it's going to be available on my YouTube channel. You can find my YouTube channel if you will search on YouTube Embroidery Art by Nat. And that's how you will find this video. A question for the chat. Girls, do men embroider in your countries? And how does society feel about this? That's an interesting question. I remember when it was COVID times and I was already running my embroidery business, but we had to stay alone in our house. Most of the time, we couldn't get out, we couldn't go anywhere, and it gave you like some kind of level of an anxiety, because you cannot meet your friends, you cannot go like shopping or anything. And my husband, he asked me, uh, if he can do some embroidery. So I transferred the pattern for him, and he was doing some embroidery, but he wasn't following any videos or instructions. He was just um, embroidering wherever um, he decided, you know. But it was a really nice stress reliever for him, and he was enjoying it so much. So yeah, I still have some of his embroidery projects somewhere, and I also posted it on Instagram. So if you will scroll down deep to the COVID times, you will see his projects posted on my Instagram page. Kelly says, I personally don't know any men who do this, but lots of men look up some form of fiber arts and it's really taken off. My husband asked me to teach him to crochet. I actually think that this is a good idea because before we had this, I know everybody wasn't like teaching men how to do embroidery or crochet, and it was considered like something that only for women. I don't know why, because I think it's right. Now we can change it, and nobody will blame them for what they are doing, like that it's considered to be for women only. It's okay. I think it's something that they need to do as well for their mental health and for just simple satisfaction of doing something with your hands. So they are like exactly the same kind of human like we are. Like, why not? I actually know a lot of embroidery artists who are men, and I even had a list of those artists um in my book, in my I know how to say planner. Yeah, in my planner, I was making notes if I found some man who is embroidering. So I can share it with you on Discord chat, probably. Yeah, and you can go and take a look what they are creating. And they are from different countries. Some of they speak Portuguese, Spanish. I don't understand what they are saying, but I love their work actually. Some of them they do a really realistic pet portraits and long and short shading. And you know, they make your they own embroidery designs, and they look like slightly different, slightly, I don't know. You kind of can say that it was stitched by men, you know. Um, Leah says that several professional football players either knit, crochet, or do embroidery. My son wants to learn how to do embroidery, so that's what he got for Christmas. Oh, was embroidery supplies, and he is learning. That's awesome. It's actually good for their brain as well if they are just kids and they are developing. So it's a really good skills that they can get. It seems to me that knitting is still 100% times more difficult than embroidery. At least it's clear which pattern ends, which seam will go next. I don't like knitting. I just like crocheting because you can, it's again probably because of the freedom that you have. You can change the pattern, you can change, like, add a few stitches that wasn't in the pattern, and it's okay, like it doesn't look wrong. But when you do knitting, it's the same, like for with cross stitching, you need to count, which is I don't like. And I don't like knitting because it's not really comfortable to keep the needles in my hands, and it's not really comfortable for some reason. I don't know. And it's slow. It's much slower than crocheting. It's yeah, and that's why it's hard for me. And I don't understand those patterns much. So yeah, I'm not very lucky with knitting, actually. I personally don't like knitting, but my mom is knitting, and she made me a lot of sweaters when I was in school and in the university. Mm, so I'm done with this color, and yeah, you may notice when you just started learning long and short shading, like the first petal can be like really complicated for you, but with each petals you make, with each next section you will feel more and more confident with practice, and it will not look so scary. You will notice that it's not so complicated as you imagined. I hope that your first try in long and trend shading turns out great. And if you can, if you're stitching something from my embroidery designs, please share it on Instagram or somewhere where I can see it and share it as well. I also have a Facebook, but it's not really working for me well. So I'm basically most of the time I'm on Instagram. So yeah, I will be happy to see your projects, your progress, and yeah, definitely share it with me. Embroidery Man is asking Natalia, do you spend a lot of time doing needlework a day? Actually, no, I'm embroidering during my live streams when I'm embroidering my projects. And most of the time I spend by making instructions for my patterns and editing my videos, um, posting on social media, which is quite sad because I wish I would do more embroidery in my life actually. So right now I'm trying to make it more simple. Before I was recording videos and I needed to spend a lot of hours, a lot of days editing those videos to make them stunning, and so now I'm trying to make it easier for me. So that's why I started doing long live streams. And for me, it's much easier, and I can embroider more projects actually. I have more time for more projects, and I think it's better than it was before. Then I also spend some time helping to my students. Um, we have a Discord chat on my stitching club, and they sometimes they ask questions, ask for help because something is not if they have some problems. So, but it doesn't take a lot of time, and I'm happy, always happy to help if somebody is struggling with something. I also have Etsy shop, so I spent some time by making new listings, replying to messages on the shop, and I have a few physical listings on my shop, like this needle minders that you can buy on my Etsy shop. I make needle minders because I really love sending something physical to your doors. So you could remember about me, enjoy this little accessory when you are stitching your embroidery projects. So yeah, that's what I do as well. Natalia, you do it very beautifully. It will be interesting to see the finished work. I hope that the photo will be on the Instagram later. Yeah, I will definitely share the photo of my finished work. And thank you so much for all your compliments. Ricky says, I have to learn a lot about hand embroidery. Yeah, it's a really nice, creative kind of craft, but I wouldn't say that it's craft, it's actually an art because you are like painting with threads, and this is also art. Oh, Ricky, switch it to Instagram. Later we will add some more details for the petals, and it will look even more realistic. Next time, maybe we will try to embroider the exact flower that I will find like a reference of a photo of the Pansy flower, and it's gonna be like a next level of long and short shading because I'm going to be choosing the colors according to this photo, and I will be trying to embroider it exactly the same way like it's in a real time because those pencils are just hand drawn with my imagination and I'm choosing the colors that I just like to combine together. But and that's why it may look a little bit cartoonish, too bright, or I know, it just flowers from my imagination. But we will get to the next level someday after I will finish teaching my um, sampler guidebook, sampler about long and short shading. Those kind of projects, we like when we are stitching something based on the reference photo. Those are projects are going to be next, and I actually, truth be told, I never did it before. So I will be learning something with you guys on the go, and you will be seeing my progress, and you can learn from me, from my experience. So it's like a nice way to exchange the experience we have. Anna is asking, what are your favorite colors? Um, those. I like purple and I like pink. Those are my favorite colors actually. Kelly says, on the kit I've just tried the outline method and filled with petal, and it's made such a huge difference. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm really glad that you learned something. See, it didn't took much time to finish this battle, so until the next time, If you're stitching along with me, go check the video description below. You will find the link where you can download this pattern so you can stitch with me. And tomorrow I will go live at the same time on YouTube and Instagram as well, and I will be finishing stitching this Pansy flower with you. We will be stitching the bottom petal, and then we will be stitching this central part, and then we will add some details around this to finish the look for this flower. So um, I was really happy to meet you guys on this live stream, so I'm hoping to see you next time. And I'm hoping that you will decide to stitch with me, and we will finish this flower together. And we will stitch a lot of other projects together, because I have a lot of plans for this month and for this year in general. It's going to be a really interesting journey, so I highly recommend you to check out the link in the video description and join my stitching club and join my stitching community. We have a chat on Discord, and it's a really fun and supportive community of stitchers where you can learn a lot of techniques. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Leah. I look forward for tomorrow. Thank you. Kelly, Anna, Erin, Ricky, everyone who joined and who was chatting with me today. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, I will finish this live stream and I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Let's stitch it together. See you tomorrow. Bye, guys.